$100 million in their first 2 months. According to the most recent figures from the state, there have been just over $98 million in non-medical sales since they began on August 6th. Eric Rodriguez is the vice president of retail for the Cannabis company, which owns the dispensary in Marietta. He says the first 2 months of recreational sales have been exciting both for retailers and for consumers, with the 10% tax on sales also bringing in some strong revenue for the state. Rodriguez says he believes the accessibility of cannabis post-legalization is bringing in new customers who wouldn't have considered it before.
I would say majority of our newer customers are some, first time users. Either it was recommended by a doctor or a nurse for some of their ailments, and they just didn't want to go through, through getting a medical card to be able to buy it when it was medical.
Many municipalities in Ohio have passed moratoriums on recreational dispensaries. Marietta isn't considering a complete moratorium, although City Council is considering legislation placing some limits on dispensaries. Belpre passed an ordinance prohibiting dispensaries